How you doing, everybody? We're back to more mundane matters today. This is Saturday the 30th of January 2010, and I just really wanted to talk about a couple. First of all, I want to thank everybody for doing the postings and doing the commentaries for over the last few couple of videos. I'm most impressed, as I say, and a few other questions I'll ask on later down, but on further down the line. But we just have to wait for those, because there's more pressing economic and political matters to be dealing with, and more mundane and more just practical matters. I want to talk about three things today. Two of them relate to Ireland directly, and the other one relates to Greece, and then indirectly to Ireland. It relates directly to Greece and indirectly to Ireland. I've put the links to the newspaper articles up there. You can have a wee look at them, okay? You can just pop them up and see them and see what I'm talking about. The first one's to do with Permanent TSB. Permanent TSB are the biggest private, they deal with private mortgages in the economy. They're the biggest suppliers of private mortgages. And on Monday they're going to put their interest rates up 0.5%. And it's going to affect 80,000 people, they say, and relates to mortgages over €250,000. So they have 80,000 of them on their books, so they're going to pop the interest rates up, okay? And so it's just further pressure on people. Now, we've already discussed before that at the present moment, there are 64,000 mortgages in Ireland where no repayment has been made over the last year. Alright? So they are on the verge of getting seized by the people who have issued the mortgages, the mortgage companies. So they'd be all the various banks. And what really, I can't really say more about. We've already discussed Permanent TSB. It's the bank is run by this lady Gillian Bowler, and I think last year she earned, I think it was around about €460,000 as the chairperson of that bank. Colossal sums of money, given the debacle that we're in. And you mustn't forget that was the same bank that loaned Anglo-Irish Bank $8 billion and patched up the holes in its accounts every time it needed the holes patched up. They just got the money from Permanent TSB. I don't know what was going on there. I don't know what quid pro quo. We haven't had an investigation into this or anything else. The likelihood of it happening is, anyway, very, very slender. But that's what's happening. So it's more pain for mortgage holders come Monday, and that's all. It's going to be more crime and more homes lost, and more people put out on the road, or whatever's going to happen. But certainly the homes and the actual properties are going to be seized by these banks. There's no question or no doubt about that. The next thing then I want to talk about is the central bank. Our central bank, they had a flag waving exercise yesterday, and they're telling us that, again, link, you can have a wee look at it. They say we're going to have a moderate recovery this year. This flies in the face of everything that we've already discussed. This flies in the face of the figures given out by the Central Statistics Office. You know, the Central Statistics Office, generally speaking, doesn't have an axe to grind in these matters. They just collect figures and they publish them, and that's it. They don't interpret them as such. They give a couple of channels. That's down to a crew called the SRI. They're the ones that are there. That's their prime. The Central Statistics Office collect the figures, publish the figures. The SRI and several other bodies interpret them and are supposed to give the information back to our government so that our government can make the right decisions vis-a-vis the state. Anyway, what I say about the central bank, listen, you can go on talking about it forever now, man. These are the people alongside Ahern and Cowan that walked us into this debacle. These are the permanent civil service body within the state that is responsible for all banking operations contained in the state. That's what it tells you what it is, the central bank. It's supposed to monitor everything goes on in the state. Okay. Okay, the four men that should be in jail over the fiasco debacle that we are in are Ahern as the Taoiseach, who was in control of it from 1987 to 2008. Brian Cowen, who was his direct responsibility for 6.5 of those years. He was a Minister of Finance, number 2 in command. And then we have John Hurley as chairman of not chairman, CEO of the central bank, and then the financial regulator, Patrick Neary. All those men should be now in jail. But that's not going to happen. We all know that that's not going to happen. No way. But so everything that the central bank tells me, I just forget about it. And there's no credibility in my estimation. So when I hear them talking about a moderate recovery, you can forget about it. We will only know what way we are in about 2 years from now. At the end of about 2011, we will get a grasp of where we are and where we're going. If we haven't been already taken over by Europe, and the IMF aren't in here running the whole show at that stage. Now they have their agents already in here. Alright? But they're only in aspects of government. They actually haven't gone into the whole finance ministry and taken it over. They've taken over elements of it. They've taken over a large section of NAMA. This fella David Seelig, we discussed him at length. Now he's appeared on the scene, and he's their agent, one of their main agents. So anyway, I don't want to go on about it, except that they're coming out with this. It's all flag waving. It's all telling us things are going to get better. Please believe me, things are not going to get better. Not for the foreseeable future. And anybody who believes otherwise is living in cuckoo land. Right. The final thing I want to talk about then is Greece. And the Greece thing's very interesting because we're obviously in lots of economic circumstances. We're just below them. They're the worst performing country in Europe. They're the ones that are under the most scrutiny. They're the ones that are under the most political and economic pressure to do something about the circumstances that they find themselves in, and we're just below them. Okay? And what they've decided to do is, put the article up there, have a read of it, they're not going to mess about, they claim, these Greeks. They're going to sack thousands of people in the government. Tells you their budget deficit represents 12.7% of their GDP, and they claim they're going to get it down under 9%, 8.5% they're aiming for. Next year they're going to fire tens of thousands of people out of the public service. So that's out of the state and semi-state bodies. Good luck. Now I don't know whether or not this is supposed to be a socialist government in power in Greece. I know whether or not they're joking or not. So they think they can do that and just walk away from it. I think they're dreaming. I think there's going to be major problems for them. Major social and political disturbances if they do that. I could see serious problems for them. But anyway, that's their business, and what they do is their concern. Our budget deficit against our GDP is not too far behind them. It's 11.13%. Okay, theirs is at 12.7. That's against our GDP. But our GDP is a fallacious figure because it doesn't include approximately 30 billion euros that every year is sent back to America and sent back to where the headquarters of these multinational companies are that are here. Alright? And that represents approximately 1/5 of our GDP. And if you take that off, you end up with a different figure then. And that's the real figure. You end up with gross national product then. And that's what our performance and our budget and everything should be measured against. And our budget deficit against our gross national product is 13.3%. So it's even greater than Greece's. So I'll give you an example. And then we're headed for a moderate recovery. I think not. We'll talk more.